Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I am going to talk all about setting powders, why I use them, when I use them, and which ones have been working out for me. But before we get started, my name is Alejandra, and on this channel, I bring you products that solve beauty concerns or simplify your beauty routine. So if you guys are a product junkie just like I am, please consider subscribing. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And without further ado, let's get started with the video. I'm going to start with the powders that I use under the eye, and these aren't too many, but I'm going to show you guys a few. I have this one in my collection, and this one is sort of an old powder. This is the Benai banana powder. I believe this is the first banana powder that I ever owned. I actually haven't used this one in a while, but this one does do the job. It does work really nice. It's not as finely milled, but I do feel like it does make your skin look a little flawless when you set your under eyes with this one. But yeah, I remember back in the day, YouTube went crazy over this powder. I believe Kim Kardashian was the one that brought it up, or her makeup artist brought it up. So yeah, this one it's pretty good, but not my favorite at the moment. I have two favorite banana powders at the moment, and this is one of them. This is the Wet n Wild contouring palette. I believe this palette is like $3 or $4, and this powder is so nice. It feels so buttery, and it just works really nice to put underneath the eyes. I actually prefer it better than the Benai. Even though it's a pressed powder, I do believe that it does do a good job to set your under eye concealer, and it does do a little bit of a brightening effect. The other banana powder that I've been liking is the newest, dropping stuff again, the AOA Perfect setting powder. This is in their banana shade. They have a couple shades, so if you guys don't like a banana shade, they have other shades that, let's say you guys just like something more brightening than a yellow undertone. They do have a lot more shades, and this was only $1, and for $1, I think this is really good. The only thing that sucks is that when you open it, everything is like, the sifter doesn't do a good job of keeping the powder inside. But the actual powder, let me see, once you get it open, it's really finely milled. You get some sort of pigmentation. It's not all the way yellow underneath the eye, because I don't like that. And that's why I feel like I like these powders. This one is finely milled. I feel like it does a nice job of setting your under eye concealer flawlessly, and it does give you a little bit of a brightening effect with that yellow tone. So if I'm not in the mood of using like a banana powder, there's always just translucent powders that I've been using. It's mainly this one. This is the No7 Translucent powder. I really do enjoy this one for underneath the eyes. So it comes like this. You twist up the cap, and then it has a little puff inside. And then this one I like because the puff actually keeps the powder from coming out. But the actual powder, once you get it out, it says it's translucent, but I like that it has a little bit of a like skin-like, I would say, color. It's not like white powder, it's not a white powder, so I really do like it, and it does a nice job of flawlessly setting your under eye concealer. So this is the powder on my hand. I'm going to put a little bit right here, and it just disappears into your skin, and it does set your under eyes flawlessly. So if I want a little bit more of a brightening effect rather than that yellow undertone, I go with this one. If I feel like my under eyes look a little drier, depending on the concealer that I use, or depending on how my skin is feeling that day, I use this one for sure. This one is a little bit more hydrating than the other powders that I've shown you. So this one is my go-to when I want my under eyes to look a little bit more moisturized, if you will. And this one does the job, and like I said, this one does set your under eye flawlessly. It's a nice finely milled product. I've heard people compare this one to the Laura Mercier, which I haven't tried, but this one does perform really nice. Now, several powders that I use for all over the face. I'm going to start with this one because it's my least favorite, but sometimes I do use it if it's the only thing that's laying around. This is the AOA loose powder in Soft Light. So it's similar to the banana powder, but it's in their loose, what is this? in their soft light color. So this one I like using all over the face sometimes when my when my foundation feels a little bit darker, then I'll use that one. But I feel like this one has some sort of like light reflecting particles in the formula. It's not something that you could see like, oh my god, it's shimmer or glitter. No, but it does have a like a nice sheen. So when you use it, it gives the skin a nice natural finish instead of a powdery finish. So this one is really nice. I like it, but I don't use it as often because my skin, I should have started with saying that my skin is oily, so I use it sparingly. But if and when I do use it, I love the effect or the finish that it gives the setting. I like how it sets your foundation. Another one that I have, I don't really use. This one is your typical silica powder that you shouldn't even use when you're doing photography or anything like that. We got this when I went to the makeup artistry school, and this is just their loose powder. This is by Mud. Mud is a very good makeup artistry brand, so if you guys are looking into like palettes that you could have in your makeup artist kit, Mud would be a good brand to look into. This one does finish and set your foundation, but it's not the most hydrating or luminizing or flawless setting powder that you'll get. But I do have this one. It does control the oil. It does do that. So if and when I feel like I need a little bit more oil control, I'll set just my nose usually with this powder. And I mean, I'll open it. It's kind of hard. This one, even when you touch it, it kind of feels dry. It feels almost like cornstarch. If you guys have ever felt cornstarch, I don't know if you can see it, but it does feel like a little bit more on the drier side. But again, it does do the job of controlling some oil, and that's when I'll use it mainly on my nose area. If I want a powder that is gonna set my makeup, but I want a little bit more coverage, I have two powders that I use, and it's these two. So I'm gonna talk about this one first. This is the Maybelline Fit Me. I use the shade number 25 medium, and this one, it says that it doesn't really give you a ton of coverage. It says it's lightweight and translucent. Now, I don't think it's entirely translucent. I do feel like it does have some sort of a light coverage when applied over foundation. So on the days that I use a lighter hand when it comes to foundation, I like setting my face, the majority of my face, with this one. I've never used it for the under the eye, but I am contemplating going to the store and getting like a lighter shade so that I can start using under the eye, because this powder just feels so hydrating, so smooth, and it's not dry looking at all. I don't know if you guys see that. This one is going to give you a little bit more coverage. It does control the oil somewhat, but the powder that I'm about to talk about, that's like my main squeeze when it comes to powder. So let's just get into it. This is the NYX No Filter powder. This is their finishing powder. So the name says it all, the No Filter powder. It's supposed to make your skin look flawless. I really do believe that it does. I feel like it does blur out my pores when I use it. And this powder, if you guys have any sort of oily skin, this powder, for some reason, I can't even read what's on the back anymore, but for some reason this powder controls your oil to like the next level. If I'm going out for a long period of time and I know that I'm gonna need my foundation to stay and not look oily or anything, I'll pair one of my favorite foundations and then I'll top it off with this, and whatever combo they may be, because of this powder, my foundation will last longer than the usual powders that I use. I've heard girls talk about this powder just using it on its own because it does have a little bit more coverage than your Maybelline Fit Me. But again, you guys, this powder, if any of these powders are calling your name, let it be this one, because this one is my favorite powder and I feel like you guys will really love it. Whether it's dry skin, because I've heard girls with dry skin use it, or whether it's oily combination skin or just normal skin, this powder does it all. It covers, it sets, it applies flawlessly and gives you a very flawless look, flawless finish. It's just the best powder, and when you feel it, it almost feels like it's wet because it's so buttery smooth. And obviously you can see right there it does have a little bit of pigment, but this powder, you guys, again, this is another powder that I've been wanting to go into the store and getting like a lighter shade because I feel like I would love it underneath my eyes. And yeah, this is the NYX No Filter Powder Finishing Powder. So there you guys have it. That is my setting powder collection. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you guys found it helpful when it came to explaining what each one does and how each one performs. If I left anything out and you guys are curious about a specific powder, please don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. And yeah, that is it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.